So I'm just kind of giving Exon some of her food because she's refusing. By the way, she's refusing to like eat big pieces of food. So now we're gonna have to like cut them up into little pieces. Delano's identified that she's finding chewing hard. So I think it's because the teeth are coming through. So now we're cutting everything into smaller pieces for her. So just for anybody out there with children, when they get to like 17, 18 months, if they're sometimes refusing meals, just maybe make them a bit smaller just in case like they can't really chew big pieces because it is hurting her, I think. And it makes a big difference actually. So, okay.
But she's eating once it's smaller.
Yeah, once it's smaller.
Oh, okay, at least that's something.
Yeah.
And how's Kuman going?
It's been a week, but it feels like 3 months. That's all I can say. Welcome to Pulling an All-Nighter podcast. I am Margaret.
And I'm Alice.
And Exon will join us in a moment. She's running around at the moment. Today we are bringing you a movie review. She's getting very excited. We've never done a movie review for you before. So over Christmas, Alice and I went to the cinema. I went with Delano. We had a lovely date. We booked a babysitter who came round and looked after the kids. We got dressed up. We went and had some food, and we ate by ourselves without.
What did you eat on that night?
Do you know, I can't even remember.
Okay.
I can't even remember what I ate, but I do remember that I was hands-free. Literally, big fish, little fish, cardboard box in it at the dinner table. Oh, yeah. So we went out and we had a meal and we saw a movie. So today we are doing a movie review of Gladiator and Wicked. So Alice went to see Wicked by herself, but she'll tell you that story later on. I won't ruin it for you. We're going to get straight into it. Alice, did you see Gladiator Part 1? Bless you. Did you see Gladiator Part 1?
I have not seen Gladiator Part 1, but I have seen Gladiator 2.
Okay, for anyone who's watching, before you get into this movie review, I want you all to remember you are going to have major spoiler alert. Yeah. Everything that happens in the movie will be discussed in this discussion right now. If you don't want to know what happens, pause, go and see the movie, and then come back and watch this review.
Yeah.
Gladiator.
Or if you're not fast, watch this review and then let it make you decide whether you want to go see it or not.
That's a good idea. Okay, all right. Because, and a good point, we will be scoring this movie. So we will give it a percentage out of 100. We will also score the plot, bless you, the music, the storyline, the acting, the cast, all kinds of stuff. We're going to give you a proper detailed review of Gladiator 2, the movie. So, the movie is set 16 years after Marcus Aurelius has died. Already Alice is like, yeah. Marcus Aurelius is Russell Crowe. So for anyone who watched the first one, by the way, for this review, I will be using actors' real names as well as their like cast names in the movie. Cool. Yeah, exactly. So it's their character names. Thank you. So, 16 years after Marcus Aurelius has died, Rome has been ruled by two corrupt emperors, Geta and Caracalla. Caracalla?
Oh, no.
Okay. For anybody who wants to know, Caracalla are the two twins who now rule Rome 16 years later. Right. So it starts off in the north of Africa where, okay, now this is where all the names are going to come through. Hanno lives with his wife, who is called Arishat. By the way, Hanno, and I'm going to skip forward a little bit, is actually Lucius. So if anyone's like, who's Hanno, who's Lucius, they're the same person, but he has a different name when he's living in the North African kingdom. And by the way, you're thinking, who is Hanno or Lucius? The actor is Paul Mescal. Okay, Paul Mescal. Then, she's like, open. Okay. So their town is then attacked by the Roman army, who is led by General Acacius. Alice was like, who's General Acacius?
No, I
Already.
remember him. I remember
Okay,
General Casio.
there you go. Pedro Pascal, very good. So General Acacius attacks the town, conquers the town, invades it, kills his wife, the main character's wife at this point, and takes him as a slave. Then they take him to another town and they get him to basically fight in order to be a gladiator. He becomes a gladiator in effect. But while he's fighting, there's a stable master called Macrinus. Do you remember who Macrinus was?
Not Foggy. Oh,
Denzel
Washington. Okay, yeah, you need to say their names.
Okay, so Macrinus is the stable master who sees. Okay, we're gonna call him Hanno for now.
I know his accent. I know.
So Macrinus is Denzel Washington, who sees Hanno, who is Lucius, and thinks, oh my gosh, this is an incredible gladiator. By the way, there is a very impressive scene where Hanno impresses Macrinus by fighting with some baboons, basically, some crazy baboons, and he ends up biting the baboons, and that's like his victory moment. Okay, so Macrinus says, I want him as a slave. They take him to Rome. Now, I'm going to say they take him back to Rome because that will make sense to you guys later. So he's in Rome and he then is brought in front of Greta and Caracalla, the two emperors, the two twin emperors who are really, really mean and nobody likes them because they're corrupt. Mm-hmm. And he impresses them by killing one of the gladiators that they put him up against. So he kills a gladiator they put him up against and they're like, oh, they're really impressed. But when he kills this gladiator, he then quotes like poetry, which a slave who is a gladiator knows poetry? Impossible. So everybody already is like, oh, mysterious gladiator. And you see Exxon's like, oh yeah.
Wanna get close to you.
So like, yeah, they want to talk to him now. So they're like, oh, okay, who is this guy? Either way, fast forward.
Remember at the time he didn't want to fight that other gladiator, right. And was just like, let's not give these rich people, poor people entertainment. Let's not give them entertainment. But then the other gladiator was just like, I'm gonna fight you. One of us is gonna die, so it just can't be me. Yeah,
his hand was forced.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, so we have this little gladiator fight, and while they're there, General Acacius has now come back from the battle, and he goes. Sorry, bear with me. General Acacius has now returned from the battle, and he goes back to the emperors and he says, guys, I would really like to spend some time with my wife. I kind of want to retire. By the way, who is his wife? His wife is Lucilla. Rewind everybody to the first movie. So if you've not seen the first movie, Lucilla is the daughter of the previous emperor who was really, really good, and the previous emperor loved Marcus Aurelius. So Acacius is married to Lucilla. Lucilla is the daughter of the previous emperor. So therefore she's kind of like the heir to the throne, but it somehow that seems like the twins have managed to get the heir to.
Remember, in those days, she's a woman, so she wouldn't be entitled to the throne, would she?
She wouldn't. Correct. Her son or child would have been. Right. So everybody remembers that she had a kid in the previous one. Hint, 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 if you're putting it all together. Acacius comes back and he says, I want to spend time with my wife. And the two princes are like, no. Like, basically, you've got to go back out to battle again. So we see on Acacius's face, he ain't feeling this. He ain't feeling the twins and he ain't feeling going back to battle. So that's kind of like the key plot there. So he already has an MO, guys. So if you're wondering what's going to happen, he ain't down with the current emperors.
So other pair of idiots, can we add? It's like, what is it, Bill and Ted? Pair of just dumbasses. They're not very smart kings. They're all right. So they're just very eccentric. Is that the word? Eccentric.
Eccentric.
Yeah. So
which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm being nice. They're just crazy. Nothing they do makes sense. They're just there for like banks, and to kill people. That's all they want to do.
So then, Lucius, bear with me.
Get the boobs out.
So over time, Lucius starts winning a lot of fights in the Gladiator ring, and I encourage you to watch these battles because they're really, really good, and the fight scenes are really good, and the special effects are really, really good. So he keeps winning fights. While he's winning all these fights, Lucilla realizes, oh my gosh, this could be my son. So if you've seen the first one, they cut back, and basically she gets her son out of Rome in order to protect him and to protect his bloodline, because she thinks he is under attack by, which we now know, the two twins. So she goes to his cell and she's like, look son, please, like, claim the throne, I can't believe you're back, they're really united. Her son's like, who you are. And he basically is just like, I also hate your husband as well, and I want him killed. So she's just like, oh no. So then she goes to her husband and says to her husband, would you mind breaking my son out of jail? And her husband's like, not really. But then her husband's like, oh, okay, fine. But then there's this whole army.
So her husband has basically Acacius has basically spoken to like their people who are really important in Rome, and they're all like, look, we're going to bring down the twins. The twins are a pair of nitwits. Let's bring down the twins and let's just take over and just rule properly. So everyone else is like, yeah, good idea. So then they had this plan to do it on the night. But then it's the same night that this lady's all like, break my kid out of jail. So obviously Mance is like, oh, I can't let her down. So then he's all like, okay, fine, let me go break your kid out of jail, and then we'll go and like bring down these two nitwit kings. But that's the night when her stupid handmaiden lady goes and tells everybody, and then they all get caught.
So the coup is foiled by Acacius being put in jail. Yeah. And then when the twins are all like, oh, can't believe you tried to overthrow us, he's like, bro, stop chatting breeze. You're gonna kill me or what?
Exactly. Spare me the lectures, kid. Kill me now. Or do what you're gonna do, because I don't want to hear one of your little lectures and stories. In it, cut to the chase.
He was very much cut to the chase, and
I love you.
He was fearless. I have to say, Acacius was fearless, but Acacius being brave and literally shutting the twins down is a reflection of how he behaves at the beginning in terms of his bravery. He dives off his own ship and he leads his army from the front in the battle that they did in North Africa. I mean, the guy is fearless, and I have to say, absolutely amazing in terms of a leader, in terms of a general, in terms of the Roman army. So I was really impressed by him. So he gets caught. They take him into the ring, and guess who he has to fight? Lucius. Yeah. He has to fight Lucius, his wife's son. He has to fight Lucius, heir to the throne. We all know what happens. He dies, but a victorious battle, which actually wins over the crowd. Long story short, everybody gets rounded up, and then there is like a final battle, right? So Lucilla has been identified as a traitor. She's been arrested, her husband's just been killed by her son, and the twins, who've obviously got one brain cell between the two of them, are like, what are we going to do with Lucilla? And then guess who steps in?
Denzel.
There you go. Denzel, who is now the puppet master, is like, don't worry, guys. I think what you should do is kill her. He manipulates the twins to the point where actually he kills one of them. He gets one of them to kill the other.
I was going to say, so one of the twins, so out of the twins, there's a smarter, I say this very loosely, there's a smarter one, and there's another one who clearly has mental health problems, and just isn't with it. So Denzel manipulates the one who has mental health problems and manipulates him into killing his twin by basically saying, oh, your twin doesn't trust you. Your twin thinks you're an idiot. So what are you going to do about it? So he then goes off, kills his twin with Denzel Washington's hand with it, because obviously he's the one forcing the knife and driving the knife into his neck. But that's a different part. And so he then names Denzel Washington as his second in command. So his twin is dead. He names Denzel Washington as his second in command. And guess who he names third runner-up? His ferret. Was it a ferret
monkey
or a monkey? Was it a monkey?
It's a monkey. So, literally, the monkey from Friends.
Right. So that gives you an example of this person's mind of thinking when he called his monkey as the third in command. Yes, he's monkey.
So, Rome is in chaos right now. You've got Denzel Washington as deputy. You've got a monkey as part, like, number 3 in command. You've got Lucilla, who's going to get killed. You've got a husband who's dead. You've got a son who is now at the forefront and has to fight in the ring to win everybody over.
Denzel Washington and Lucius have this massive fight and see who wins.
We've told you the plot. We've told you who's who. We've given you a bit of information in between. Now we're going to score the movie. But first, Alice, what did you think of the movie in general? Did you enjoy it? Were you entertained? And only the people who saw the first movie would understand that line.
I thought it was a good movie. Would I watch it again? No. But I think in the moment I enjoyed it for what it was. There were just some people in it that I just didn't feel like needed to be there. For example, the twins. I just felt like, what are they, bad actors, or were they meant to act like that? I don't know. And from where I feel like your acting was really bad, it didn't make me enjoy it, because I just felt like you were bad actors.
I agree. And I think this is where the movie is scored, where I take points off for this movie. Because I think, as you said, in the moment I enjoyed it. I like the scenes. I like the special effects, etc. However, I think the casting could have been done better. So, for example...
Excellent.
For example, General Acacius, who was Pedro Pascal, was an amazing actor, but way underused. I was so disappointed in the fact that he didn't have enough scenes, he didn't have enough lines, and his acting was so sterling. Number 2, I actually thought Paul Mescal could not carry the movie. If you watch the first one, Russell Crowe looks like a gladiator. He looks legendary. He commands a scene. He commands an audience. He commands, like, literally his troops. I have to say, Lucius didn't do it for me. I just thought he didn't give me everything. I wasn't convinced he could have been a gladiator and fought all those fights. Denzel, brilliant. I thought he did really well in his role. Manipulative, like, sneaky behind the scenes. Really, really good. So they scored down on casting for me. I don't know what it was like for you.
I completely agree. I challenge you on the main character. Is it Lucius?
Yeah, Lucius.
I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he was okay. And
maybe, okay in a movie this size.
And I was gonna say, maybe it's because I feel like he's the best out of a few people that I just didn't like. So, maybe I'm rating him because there was a lot of stuff that wasn't very great.
Okay.
But I did like Denzel Washington was absolutely fantastic. He was brilliant, and I just thought the acting from everyone else was...
What about Ravi? Remember the doctor guy who goes and sends a message?
See, I just felt like he was very underutilized again.
Thank you.
I felt like, why did we have him? There were a lot of characters that I just thought, why did we have you in here? The film was long, but I didn't quite get the point in some of the people because we didn't really use them. So
agreed.
Yeah, so I feel like there could have been more to his story, but it was very kind of, oh, okay, you're a messenger boy. Cool.
You're a messenger boy. And not just that, I know they're probably setting it up for number 3, but don't set it up to the point where we're like, you should have done more in part 2. You didn't need to set it up so much that you were so vague and we were so disappointed.
Yeah. And then you played into, anyways, I keep going back to the twins, but the twins were such bad actors. So I just felt like you got a lot of screen time. But then did they get a lot of screen time? I don't know. I can't even, I think the screen time they got was just irritating. Why did you need to be there? It was very jarring.
Fair enough. Okay, out of 100%, what would your percentage be?
For acting
Everything.
or for,
Like overall.
oh, overall,
Overall.
give it 70%, 65,
Okay.
70.
Would you watch it again?
No,
Would
I've
you
done
recommend?
it. I've seen it. Pardon?
Okay. Would you recommend?
I'd recommend if you like that type of film. So if you've seen one, well, I didn't even see one. I just wanted to see it. I just didn't have the patience. So if you've seen one and really want to see two, then watch it. But if you're not fussed about like gladiator type of films, you're not missing anything, in my opinion. Um, yeah, you're not missing anything. You're not going to lose out if you don't see this film. I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't watch it again. I feel like I've seen it. I was entertained for the moment, but I feel like enough. There wasn't enough to make me go back and see it again, but I do think it was a good movie. I would 100% recommend it, even if you haven't seen the first one. It is a movie that will be talked about in the future, and it is a movie that has got a good budget and good cast. And if you like gladiator movies, if you like action movies, you're going to enjoy it. The budget for the movie was 310 million, and at the box office it made 455, which it didn't smash the box office records, and it did okay. So it made its money back, it washed its face, but they're not going to be celebrating it in movie land, basically. Yeah. I mean, everyone got paid and maybe a bit of a tip, but other than that, they're not breaking the bank with it. So it hasn't done as well as it could, but I also think it hasn't done well because... Oh, sorry, let me give you my score. My score would probably be 76% is what I would go with, because I do think they could have done more with it. I think they could have done a better casting, and I also think that it ended all right, but it didn't leave me wanting more. I had more questions than I did answers at this point. So yeah, it's got to be a 76 for me. And I don't think, sorry, back to my other point, I don't think it did well at the cinema because of the movie you went to see.
Yes. Nice segue. I love it. I love it.
So how did you end up at the cinema by yourself?
So I wanted to see Wicked. Yeah, when I saw the adverts and stuff like that, I was just like, I want to see it. And then I checked the movie time and realised it's 2 hours and 30 something minutes. I was just like, who is going to... Anyways, so my original plan was to go to Baby Cinema. So at Blue Water, for anyone who doesn't know, just so you know, at Blue Water, they do Baby Cinema. So I think it's Mondays and Thursdays in the morning at like 10:30. They show a film and you can take your baby with you. So I've been a few times while I'm on maternity leave, but when I saw that this film was 2.5 hours and Zaraya is at the point where she ain't sleeping for 2.5 hours, I was just thought, I am not going with Zaraya, not doing it. And I knew my husband didn't want to see it, the boys don't want to see it, so I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna go on my own. So packed my load, told my husband I was going to go cinema and watch Wicked, told him I was going to go see Wicked. He was not fazed, didn't even do I wanted to see that. It was just a simple, all right then, see you later. So went to the cinema on my ones and saw Wicked. And so we've seen it in theatre. So we saw it at the theatre years and years ago, actually. So I couldn't remember the plot, the storyline very well. But I just knew, yeah, I want to see this. And obviously Cynthia Erivo is in it and stuff like that. And I just thought, oh, do you know what? I kind of like her. Let me go see. So went along to the cinema. Cool. So the whole Wicked fit, the storyline of Wicked is basically it's played by Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, who is the witch, Wicked
The
Witch,
green one.
basically. The
The
Green
green
Witch.
witch,
Thank
right?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is the Green Witch, and then you have Ariana Grande, who plays Galinda Upland, who is the Pink Witch ultimately. So it tells the story of how it is. So it's ultimately the story of the Wizard of Oz, and how the kind of story all came about. The story starts with how she becomes green. So she becomes green because her mum is having an affair with some random person who we don't know. But during their affair, we see that that person's drinking some green drink. So when mum goes into labor, gives birth to a green baby. Her biological dad is obviously like, what is this? Who is this? And why is she green? Um,
EastEnders. It's an episode of
Literally,
EastEnders.
so he's like, I don't want this baby. But yeah, so she's around. And then they then go on to have a second baby, and then their second baby is in a wheelchair. So mum went into labour early. We find this out a bit later on down the line. But mum goes into labour early, has a second baby. She isn't green because she's the daughter of the father. So that's his biological daughter. And you can tell right from the beginning that Elphaba, Greenwich, is basically the runt of the family. Dad doesn't really care for her much.
Yeah.
Her role is look after your sister. The sister is the golden girl. So sister goes off to uni, and on the day of uni, Elphaba goes with her, with the dad. So they're at the uni, and it's an amazing uni. Everybody is just magical and happy, and wow, wow, wow. And this is where we get introduced to Ariana Grande's character, Glinda.
Can I just ask, what is the relationship like between Elphaba and her sister?
So, so it's tricky. It seems like it's a good relationship because Elphaba understands her sister and understands that her sister wants independence. She's in a wheelchair, but she's very much she wants to do it on her own. Let her do it on her own. Let her have her independence. Whereas Daddy's very mollycoddling her and stuff. Whereas she understands that her sister wants independence, and just wants her to get on with it. So it seems like a good relationship. So they get to uni. We meet Ariana Grande's character, who is a complete idiot, basically. So she's very everyone. So just think of the annoying popular person in school who everyone's begging it with, but it's slightly like they have no brain, they have no character, they've got nothing about them. They're just pretty. Her thing is I'm pretty and I'm rich. So everyone is begging it with her.
Okay, so is she's not? There's no obvious talent there.
There
There's
is
no obvious kind
none.
of what. Right. Okay. Okay.
No. So she's pretty and rich. That is her qualities. So everybody bows down to her. Everyone thinks she's amazing. She thinks she's amazing. La di da, the world revolves around me. So whilst they're doing like their orientation at the uni, Elphaba is just trying to like leave and kind of go on about her day and go back with her dad, but her dad's very much no, go with her, go and help her and stuff. So she kind of follows her about for a little bit, and then it comes to a point where they're now going off to their rooms, and the little sister is being pushed along, and Elphaba's there like, no, don't push her, let her do it on her own, she can do it on her own. But the person isn't listening, so then she loses it, and basically everything just lifts up. She basically had her anger brings out her power and her magical powers. So in that moment she gets angry and her magical powers like explode in the
Can
room.
I just ask, what type of school is this, by the way?
It's do you
Is
know
it
what?
is it a magical school?
Do
Is
you
it a
know what?
school for witchcraft? What kind of school is it?
No, I don't think
Oh,
it
it's just a
is.
regular school.
It's
Like,
not a regular school. Someone's gonna tell me and be. Someone's gonna like call me out and be like, "Fam, you missed the plot. It was a special school." I didn't get the impression it was because no one else seemed to have powers. It seemed like they wanted to learn. It seemed like there were people there to learn because Ariana Grande's character wanted to go in this lady's class who does witchcrafty type stuff. but Ariana Grande doesn't have the power. Does that make sense? So it seems like no one's got the power other than Elphaba. So then this lady sees her like have this magical moment and is just like, oh my god, you're special. You have to come to this uni. So I don't know in what schools it happens where they see you on orientation day and they say, you're coming here. We're taking you, we're accepting you into this school.
Does she not accept school fees as well? Does she like, don't worry about the school fees, babe? Just come on in.
Clearly was just like, wait, we'll waive the school fees. You just get your place. So she's like, look, Elphaba, you have to come to this uni. I'm going to personally teach you, and take you under my wing. Cool, cool, cool. So she ends up having to share a room with Glinda, Ariana Grande's character, who was meant to have her own private room because she's that special. But because Elphaba is now here, they have to board together. Cool.
Okay.
So we watch kind of like their friendship. Well, as I say friendship, they don't get along at all. They don't like each other. They don't have a relationship. It's very kind of fighting against each other.
Okay.
And also at this school, some of the teachers are animals as well. So the animals are lecturers. And so they're going through a phase at that moment in time where the animals were being phased out and being told that they can't lecture anymore.
Can I just ask, with the animals, what is the special effects like? Just so prepare people, because as soon as you say animals, I'm like, is
my
it done
imagination
well?
has to go far. No,
Honestly,
no, it's actually it's all right. It's basically a goat, but I'm not sitting there like this is the worst CGI in the world. No, it's not bad.
okay.
It's actually okay. It's okay. But you still have to use your imagination. It's a talking bloody animal, for goodness sake. And then they have like an animal meeting. So, yeah, you still have to stretch your imagination, but it was all right.
Hold on. Is it Lion King, the new version type of animals?
I
I
hate
know how much you love the new.
it. So, for the record, I hate stupid CGI Lion King. I don't get why we're doing it. I don't understand it. Why? Why do we have this? Who said that we need a CGI Lion King? I'm so confused.
Okay, all right. So they didn't do that. They did
No,
something else.
the special effects in this was better than CGI Lion King. CGI Lion King is just dumb. Anyways, it's better. So the animals are being told that they can't teach anymore, which is a travesty, and all the kids are like, oh no, this is terrible. Because their voices are being taken away. Elphaba particularly is very distraught and upset about this and just feels like it's a massive injustice that their voices are being taken away, that shouldn't be happening. And so she's trying to figure out how she can help and stop it from happening. And she has a good relationship with the goat, who is one of the last teachers at the school, who is an animal. So they're on this journey and stuff. And then eventually, Ariana Grande's character really wants to learn how to be a witch. Not be a witch, but learn how to do the witchcraft stuff, which Ariana Grande is getting private tutoring to do with the teacher. The teacher doesn't rate Ariana Grande at all. Doesn't
Can
like
I just pause here?
Yes.
Because, right, everyone who's like a Christian or any religious person, like, witchcraft? What kind of movie is this? Okay, we'll just dial it back and just be like, wizardry. Or some sort. People are still like, no.
Yeah, not in my household. Sorry, auntie. Wizardry.
Okay, anyway, either way, they're learning magic.
It's true.
I don't know how we're going to say it. Either way, like, they're learning magic. Okay, cool.
Magic
so her teacher doesn't...
A spade is a spade.
Okay, so the teacher doesn't rate Ariana
Grande. No, she doesn't rate her, doesn't like her. It's just like, you're talentless, you're whatless. No one likes you. I don't like you. Just stay away from me. Don't want you in my space. So as time goes by, they then I can't remember how they form a friendship. Eventually, they form a friendship somehow, some way, somehow.
Is Ariana Grande bullying her? Is she passive aggressive? Is she mean?
She's a
Is
mean
she
girl.
manipulative?
Yeah, she's a mean girl. She's not very nice to her. And she manipulates throughout the friendship. It's because even when they became friends, it was quite manipulative in the way it happened. Because she gave her a hat that she gave Elphaba a hat to wear to a party. Elphaba wore the party, but she gave it to her as in like everyone's gonna laugh at you. Elphaba rocks up to the party wearing a hat, thinking it's a kind gesture, like oh my god, you did something nice, and then lo behold, everyone laughs at her. And then from that is when Ariana Grande then realizes, oh, I am a bit of a cow, and then they kind of do like this little. They have a moment, and then that's how they form their friendship from that moment. Ultimately, as time goes on, the teacher's like, your powers are incredible. You're really good, Elphaba. I'm gonna write to the wizard. The wizard has to meet you. You have to get to know the wizard. She writes to the wizard. Wizard writes back and is just like, fam, get Elphaba to the land of Oz. I need to meet her. I need to see this girl.
The wizard says, say less.
That. Say less. Run her down to Wizard of Oz so I can meet her. So it's all like, yay, the wizard wants to meet you. So then the wizard, she goes to the train station, is about to get on the train. Then Glinda gives her a present, and then Elphaba suddenly like, oh, come with me, come to the land of Oz with me. Do you know when you just think it's not everybody that needs to come with you? It's
Thank you.
Sometimes just leave us behind, innit? Let them sit at home.
Honestly.
Elphaba and Glinda end up going to Oz. They meet the Wizard of Oz. So what's happening is, so everybody thinks the Wizard of Oz has this power where he can read a book of spells. And that's why he's the Wizard of Oz. He's all knowing, all seeing, all powerful Wizard of Oz. But it turns out that he actually can't read the spells. He has no power, doesn't know anything. Man is a dunce, basically. And he's been looking for the person who can read it, who is Elphaba. And what he's always promised is once he finds that person, he's going to grant them their heart's desires. So everyone is
Which
thinking,
he can't because he ain't got no powers. But okay, all right, this is all part of the fantasy and the storytelling.
Exactly.
Okay.
Empty pockets. So he's all like, oh yeah, I'll grant you your heart's desires, whatever you want, if you can read this book thing. So so then they realise, oh my god, she has the power, she can read the book. So everyone's thinking, oh, you want your heart's desire, you don't want to be green anymore. But then she turns around and is just like, no, I want the animals to have their voice. I want whatever's happening.
Wrong wish.
Exactly. So she doesn't know who's behind what's happening with the animals, but she's just very much, you're the Wizard of Oz, you are like the great king, you can help these animals, turn it around, save the animals. Turns out the Wizard of Oz is a bit like, I ain't helping no animals. I'm the one who's making the animals shut up in the background. No, I'm not granting that. To which Elphaba's like, hold on a minute, you can't read the book then, can you? So she realizes he can't read nothing, he has no power, she is the one with the power. And then from that moment is where everything goes left. She then steals the book, trying to run away, trying to make everybody know that the wizard has no power, doesn't know what he's doing, he's actually evil.
Wait. What's Glenda doing at this point? What's Glenda up to?
Glenda's all there like, calm down, it's okay. Just listen to the wizard. Who cares about the animals? Just do what the wizard says. So Glenda's a begit right now. And it's just like, look, yeah, I have no morals, no scruples. So therefore, let's listen to the wizard and F the animals. Who gives an heck? Forget about the animals. Which Elphaba's like, no. So Glenda's in the background like, oh, no, let's not do this. So Glenda is very much right. I'm going to let everybody know the wizard is a fraud. The wizard doesn't know what he's doing, and everything else. So she then escapes with the book, and then from that moment is where her teacher. Her teacher then arrives and switches on her as well. So she realizes her teacher is also evil and is plotting with the wizard. So then the teacher and the Wizard of Oz put out a message to everyone, basically saying, don't listen to Elphaba. Elphaba is a bad witch. She's trying to plot against the wizard. Whoever sees her must kill her, bring her down. She's the worst and everything.
They put a hit out on her.
Yes. But then at the same time, they've put out the rhetoric of, but listen to Glinda. Glinda is lovely. Glinda is magical. So obviously Glinda, who's Beggit and has been looking for the validation from the teacher and the Wizard of Oz, is all like, okay, cool. I am great. I am happy. I will be your frontline person of wonderfulness against Glinda.
She's going to be the poster girl, basically. She's just like, I will be the poster girl for
the Wizard of Oz and his madness. So that's where the story ends ultimately, with Glinda taking the book and basically saying, I have the power and I'm going to let everybody know. But the Wizard of Oz using Glinda and everybody else and all his power to basically say, she is bad, she's crazy, don't listen to her. So that's where it ends. I really enjoyed it. It was long, but I didn't feel like I was there for ages. I wasn't there like constantly checking my time thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on?
So if we compare it to the casting in Gladiator, what was this casting like? Did they get the right people doing the right things? But also, it seems like there's only like 4 important people in this movie. The two, Glenda and Elphaba, the teacher, and the wizard. That's it.
Yeah. So there are other characters, but they bring them in, but it doesn't feel like I'm lost in their I feel like they used them enough that they carried the rest of the story along to where it needed to be. So you had her sister's love interest, but who's really in love with Glenda. But you had like that storyline going on. You had like the love interest of Glenda, who low-key likes Elphaba as well. So you had like other different characters in there. You had her dad and that kind of dynamic going on there. So there were other characters, and you did feel like you were engaged in their story, but you were never taken away from the main story. So like in Gladiator, it felt like there were all these characters, but the thread just got cut. It's just like, I don't know what's happening with this. Whereas with the other characters, they interweaved really well into the story, and everything. The acting was really good. I really enjoyed.
Now, Ariana Grande is a singer.
Mm.
Did she convince you of her character?
Yes, she was highly annoying. And I think she did it very well. So, and this is what I mean about, like, I could tell that it was good. I didn't it wasn't grating. So her acting was good to the point where you're annoying me, but you're acting it really well. Whereas with the twins, it was just like, you're just bad actors. You just don't
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Whereas it felt like she was playing the character. She was playing the role very well.
Okay.
So I give it to her.
All right.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend it. Yeah.
Who would you recommend it to?
I'd recommend it to people who like, if you're into like Harry Potter and if you're into like musicals and if you're into that type of thing.
Wait. They're singing.
Yes. So, all right.
Can you just explain that?
So I hate a musical just like you. I hate it when people randomly break into song. I remember I can't remember what it was I went to watch in theatre, and they broke into song, and whoever I went with, we just burst out laughing because we were just like, I hate this. But no, it didn't feel like, oh, for God's sake. No, it didn't give that energy. It was actually, you got carried along with the story and the song and everything else, and it wasn't like over singing and then you got lost. It was proportionate to the story. It worked really well. So I would recommend it. But I'd recommend,
and you'd recommend it to, sorry.
Yeah, I'd recommend it to, if you like that type of genre of film,
Yes.
then
Yes.
definitely watch it. But then also, I think if you're like just pottering around and you just want something in the background, it's a good film. And also, if you want a storyline that's got layers to it, because there's so many different layers to the film in terms of you're dealing with racism, you're dealing with prejudice, you're dealing with disability, you're dealing with, there's so many different segments to it that aren't so in your face, but if you like to dissect a film and like look a bit deeper into stuff, it's really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Gladiator ain't giving you that depth, people. If anyone
No.
wants to know, if you're like, are they dealing with racism and sexism and the isms and disability? No, they're not doing that. It's just pure action, killing, murder, family generation and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd recommend, would you watch it again?
I would watch it again. I would watch it again. I wouldn't watch it again in terms of I'm going to sit in front of the TV and focus and watch it. But if it was on and I was doing something, I'd have it on. I'd watch it.
Okay.
But
And
not
what is your
concentration,
score?
but I'd watch it. Pardon?
Okay, and what is your score?
I would give it an 80%.
That's a strong score.
85%.
That's a strong score.
Because
Can I just say?
Because I know that I'm committed, and and I say that because I'm also committed to watching the next one. Like,
There's going to be 3 in total. 3 in total.
are you kidding me? Oh, I don't know if I'm committed to 3. I'm committed to the second one.
By the way, Alice is committed to 3. There's going to be like a 3rd review in the next 5 years, so just wait out for it.
I'm gonna eat my words. But yeah, I'm committed to seeing the next one. With Gladiator, if there's another one, I think I'll catch it on DVD. We don't even have DVD anymore. I'll catch it on Netflix when it finally makes it to Netflix. I don't think I'm going to leave my house to go watch Gladiator 3. But I would leave my house and pay money to go watch Wicked the next one.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, the budget for this movie was $150 million. And in turn, they made at the box office 697 million.
Yeah.
So they did well. They did well.
They did, but you know what? They did it very well. Yeah. And I hate going to watch like films that are really hyped up and stuff like that. Because I feel like everybody was watching it and it was everywhere and everywhere. I watched it when it had died down, but I'm glad I watched it, and I'm glad I watched it at the cinema. So yeah, I think it deserves the however many millions it's made back. I liked it.
Thank you everybody for watching this bonus special episode with our movie reviews, Gladiator and Wicked. Join us for another review soon. All right.
Yay. All right, blowing kisses.
He's like, mwah, mwah, mwah.
All right, blowing kisses to your audience.